Something that a lot of people seem to just have forgotten because Alabama beat Georgia is that Alabama is beatable. They lost at home against Texas by 10 points. They followed that up with a huge win against South Florida, which ended 6-6, where their game was 17-3. Then on the road, they only had a 6-point win against Texas A&M, which that was followed up by a home game against Arkansas, who ended 4-8, and they only won by 3 points. Oh, and let's not forget the game right before the championship game where they played at Auburn and they had to win with a miracle play at the end of the game. Another game that probably actually should have been a loss. And yet everybody seems to want to say that Alabama is guaranteed to win this game. And of course, we saw them in the championship game beat Georgia, but again, just by 3 points. So it's not like they're blowing people out of the water on a weekly basis. They have a loss. They barely beat Georgia. They looked bad against other teams. Alabama is totally beatable. I think the biggest narrative that people are attaching themselves to is the fact that Michigan has lost 2 playoff games in a row. Fine, rightfully so. And also Harbaugh's bowl game losing streak. Fair enough. Those are points that you can definitely argue. But also in that same discussion, this is not the same team. This is a very similar team to last year, but they are also very different. One thing that is the same is JJ McCarthy. Now, he wasn't completely healthy at the end of the season, which is fine. The team was able to rally around him and they were able to win other ways. But he does need to be careful, especially against this Alabama defense. This is a really good defense, especially in their secondary. He needs to be quick and smart, not fast and dumb. There is a difference. He's thrown some passes that have been very impressive, but also very dangerous. I don't think he's going to be able to do that against this Alabama defense. So he needs to be very smart with what he decides to do. Another thing that people seem to be latching onto is the fact that Alabama beat Michigan back in the 2020 bowl game. But this is not the same coaching staff. I mean, yes, Harbaugh is the head coach. Drastically different team, not the same coaching staff, especially on defense. Talking about defense, Jesse Minter was the coach last year of the defense that led up their most points in the bowl game against TCU. Super uncharacteristic. They cannot do that this year. They will not be able to win this game if that is what they do. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, something that I think that they're going to do, something that I believe that they're going to need to do is throw curveballs at Alabama. They need to try to catch Alabama off guard. They need to try to put the defense on its heels. One way I think that they're going to try to do that is with Orji at quarterback. We saw him briefly in the OSU game. I really do believe that he's going to be more of a factor in this game against Alabama, and I think he can be really good for it. I actually wouldn't be too surprised if you see JJ and Orji on the field at the same time. Of course, you have to talk about Alabama's quarterback, Milroe, a dual threat quarterback. Not easy to defend, but teams have done it. That's a thing that just blows my mind is that people are just like, oh, Michigan's done for because they have a dual threat quarterback. They're not going to know what to do. It's just like other teams have done it, and Michigan has one of the better defenses in the country. I don't know why you're freaking out and saying that's impossible. Will it be difficult? Absolutely. Are they able to do it? I believe so. So relax. I'm not exactly going to go back into the details because I've talked about it multiple times now, but the magic number I think for Michigan is 30. If Michigan can keep Alabama under 30 points, they can win this game. If Alabama is able to score 30 or more points, though, I think it's a loss for Michigan. When they have let teams score 30 or more points, that's when Michigan loses. So the defense really has to step up for this one. A lot of players for this Wolverine team returned last year to be able to play in this game again to try to get to the national championship game. Alabama, of course, was not in the playoff last year, so they really want to try to get the national championship for Nick Saban. I don't know if people are thinking that Michigan's just not going to be prepared or going to gloss over this game, but this is huge for them. I feel like they may have glossed over the TCU game last year, thinking that it was going to be an easy win and then Alabama was going to be the tough game. And so then they played a stupid game last year, stupid sloppy game. But for this one, there's no way that you can overlook Alabama. You can't. If you are, you're just dumb. I don't think anyone is going to. Also, they have that TCU game like fresh on their memories. So 10 of them know that you can lose any game, especially one like this one against Nick Saban and Alabama. This is Michigan going to the Rose Bowl, which hasn't happened in forever. And if you don't think that they're talking about that when they're prepping for this game and about the history of this game and about how big it is to this program, you're definitely overlooking it. They are talking about this is huge for them. I often say, be careful, don't look ahead and everything. I find it hard to believe that they might do that with this one. I think I pre-warned it with the TCU one because they were playing TCU, but with this one, it's all in. Like it's do or die. There's a very good chance that this is going to be a bigger game than the national championship game, just because it's Michigan versus Alabama, and depending on who winds up being in the national championship game and what that turns out to be. So this is huge. I believe they're locked in and focused, and I'm expecting a good game from this. My score prediction is Michigan 27, Alabama 20. Cannot wait for kickoff on New Year's Day. I hope you all have been having a good holiday season. I hope that you have a fantastic new year and that we all get to enjoy an amazing New Year's Day. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me with these episodes, and we will catch you on the flip side. And of course, as always, go blue.